What is up, YouTube? It's Kingfisher745, and this is the Team Building Series Team Spotlight. It's been a little while since we had a new episode, but this is going to be episode number 18. It's also going to feature a subscriber-suggested team, so this time we're going to be using Hercules and Ares. And they certainly have that Olympus connection going on, but they are both bruisers. Now, I ended up using the brand new Empowered Infiltrator armor, but you would do pretty well to use a tactician armor of any kind. And that's because two bruisers will be very vulnerable to a blaster. So at least with the tactician you could make them pay. I just love this armor so much, and it gives us an empowered ISO, plus combat reflexes, so it really comes in handy, especially in PvP. For my items, we are using the Shepherd's Staff and the Neurotrope. The Neurotrope will give us a number of buffs that will help out Finest Hour, or in Hercules' case, Blessing of Olympus. And on top of those amazing quick action items, we're using the Warbringer Axe and also the Synthetic Cube. I removed the Vigilante Toolkit as one of my items, and the reason I did this was because I want Hercules to protect. This team does a lot better when Hercules protects. Number one, he's going to do a huge counterattack, and then we also gave him an empowered ISO 8 that allows him to gain an extra turn when protecting. You can see it under the buff Big and Fast, and this comes from the Vengeful Empowered ISO 8. It's pretty amazing on any bruiser protector. And lastly, on Ares, we gave him Relentless ISO. That way he's immune to stun. Now, if you're lucky enough to have Hercules at level 13 and have his character-specific ISO 8, you could equip that as well. And of course, Ares can have an extra empowered ISO 8 at level 13 also. But unfortunately, my Ares is a level 12, and my Hercules is only a level 11. But in the battle, Hercules just procced Big and Fast, so he does his counterattack, and then he gains an extra turn. This should be enough to finish that last Dark Elf. Now we're going to move into a second PvE battle, and just get a little bit more familiar with this team. Following this battle, we're going to have 3 PvP matchups, and they're all pretty good against serious teams. Well, the one team is kind of odd, and you'll just have to stay tuned to see what that is. The current PvE battles are coming from Spec Ops 14, and these Dark Elves are pretty easy other than the fact that they can hit pretty hard at times. I find that Ares plays out pretty much the same way in every PvE battle. You're always going to use his Personal War, then you're going to use Crush Your Enemies when it's off cooldown. In a lot of these PvE battles, you don't have to worry about healing, so you pretty much never have to use his minigun. But that Despair can be an absolute lifesaver against certain PvP teams. In addition to his regular abilities, Ares really thrives off his passive procs. His 10,000 yard stare really hampers an opponent's damage, and then on top of that, whenever War Never changes procs, it can completely change the tide of a battle, oftentimes by unexpectedly finishing an opponent. The current wave of Dark Elves is getting obliterated from counterattacks, and right now Hercules is actually going to protect from a ranged attack. That means he will counterattack with the Rock of Ages. With my agent's turn, we're going to have our quick action items up once again, so we're going to use the Shepherd's Staff as well as the Neurotrope. The staff is a pretty awesome item and works well with this team. The only thing is I am going to use the Mystic instead of it in PvP. That way this team can be immune to debuffs for the entire first round. On top of that, the Mystic can help shut down characters like Iron Patriot or Rescue, or at the very least make them a lot less effective. Now we're going to finish this last elf off with a Warbringer Axe attack, and we're headed into the last wave of the PvE battles. Now it looks like Ares is going to get the first turn of the wave, so we're going to attack with Personal War, and then a single target attack, Art of War. With the bleed and hemorrhage, we should be able to finish this elf, and we do take him out. Now we get another attack due to the Shepherd's Staff, so we're going to use Modern Warfare just to mix it up a little bit. And Hercules will easily be able to finish this, so let's go ahead and use his level 1, the Pummel. We'll just play it safe. Hercules did have Blessing of Olympus, so this is a guaranteed crit, and it does over 14,000 damage. Now on to our very first PvP battle. We're going to be facing Rescue and Ares. Their agent is protecting, and he also has heavy metal, so he's immune to bleeding, burning, and chilled. Rescue had the Relentless Empowered ISO, so she is immune to stun, but Ares Empowered ISO only allows him to gain back HP if he rests. So that's a pretty odd pick for an E-ISO. Regardless, since our agent is a protector, we're going to have to target him with our attacks. So we're going to start out by using Personal War. Unfortunately, their Ares does use a 10,000 yard stare. So even if that would have hit, it wouldn't do that much damage. Unfortunately, we didn't even get to place any debuffs. And that's of course due to the fact that he dodged everything. Next, we actually did go with the Modern Warfare. That way we get to place Despair on all the enemies. So Rescue's Reconstruction Matrix won't be able to heal their team. At least not until they get rid of Despair. Their agent decides to use the Wrist Slinger on our Ares, and then on top of that, their Ares joins in with an Art of War. So at this point, he's pretty hurt, and we're lucky that Hercules is going next. That way we can use the Gift of Battle and hopefully protect him from some attacks. And right away our Protect does kick in, so we're going to take that Personal War to Hercules. Then the good news is we're going to counterattack it with the Rock of Ages. And also, our Ares is going to join in on the attack. So we're going to do some pretty big damage to their Ares, assuming we hit. We do hit with the Rock of Ages, as well as the Art of War. So now with that bleed effect, Ares is down below 4,000 health. So let's see if he does another single target attack that we can protect against. Well, it looks like we're not going to get that lucky this time. He uses Crush Your Enemies, and the bleed damage takes him really low on health. But he stays alive with 1100 left. So with our agent, we're going to use the Neurotrope. Then we're going to use the effect from our armor, which is Quick Reflexes. This will give us combat reflexes, and one of the great things about that is it makes our attacks stealthy, meaning we can target anyone. We don't have to worry about that protect effect. This gives us a great opportunity to try out the Mystic against Rescue. This will place obsolete tech on her. But we actually kill her, so I guess that's even better. On Ares' turn, we're going to use Personal War, and that will hit their agent. Then we get to follow that up with the Crush Your Enemies. That should finish off their Ares, and also hopefully stun the agent. Alright, so let's use that level 9. Oh, and because of this 10,000 yard stare, I just realized something. The 10,000 yard stare during my first turn wouldn't have affected me due to the Mystic. At least that's how it should work. The only debuff I really noticed that goes around the Mystic is internal bleeding. Sadly, it won't stop that effect from being placed on your team. This battle was pretty much won, but the agent is being kind of annoying, because they're evading a ton of attacks. Just to ensure that Ares doesn't die, we're going to use the Light Fantastic. That will place a heal on him, as well as Mirror Reality. Then we're going to use Personal War once again, and this time it does hit. So it's going to place Weak Point on the enemy agent. That should come in pretty handy. Next we'll use Art of War, but he dodges once again. I really didn't expect that this time, but at least his counterattack won't do any damage to Ares. And Hercules joins in with a 69,000 damage pummel. So I actually like the way that one ended. Now this is the team that I was talking about. It's kind of odd, but pretty interesting. It's Wasp and Squirrel Girl. They appear to have really decent bonuses, and they could be a pain to hit, especially with melee attacks. Wasp is going to start the battle by using Skirmish Scramble, so she does gain Nimble. The good news is the Mystic stops the debuffs from being placed on our team. Now with Ares, we're going to focus on Squirrel Girl, and the same thing goes for Hercules. And that's because fortunately she is a scrapper, and we have 2 bruisers. So we're going to gain Enrage and start doing some major damage. Now after checking if they had Relentless ISO, I noticed that they didn't. So we're going to use Crush Your Enemies, and it does stun 2 out of 3 opponents. If they were immune to stun, I would have just used this level 1 on Squirrel Girl. With our agent, we're going to use Quick Reflexes, followed by the Neurotrope. Now we're going to try something interesting. Since the enemy agent is holding the Protector of Adelan, we're going to use the Mystic, and that'll put obsolete tech on him. This should lock that item out from being able to be used. The other option would be to use the Darkest Void from the Synthetic Cube. But like I said, we're going to use that Mystic and try to lock out the Protector. It does hit for 22,000 damage, and it puts obsolete tech on him. But then Hercules joins in on the attack, and their agent's gone. So we've yet to see that obsolete tech actually kick in. Hercules now has Gift of Battle, but Wasp uses Fist Bump, so she's able to hit Ares. He counterattacks for some pretty big damage. Now with Ares, we're going to use the Personal War on Wasp. That finishes her off, and now we're free to hit Squirrel Girl with that level 1 Art of War. The initial damage plus hemorrhaging takes Squirrel Girl to under 5,000 HP. And just like the previous battle, Hercules tries to finish it, but Super Squirrely kicks in this time. And that's what I meant by it might be hard to hit her with melee attacks. She does miss with her ability, so she doesn't heal, and that's going to cause this bleed to finish her off. So now we're moving on to the third and final battle of the video. This one's going to be against Phoenix and Iron Patriot. Hercules does get to go first finally, so we're going to use Gift of Battle right away. Now the other thing that we're excited about is the fact that we can put obsolete tech on War Machine. So we're going to be using the Mystic as soon as we get a chance. We may actually see it kick in and take effect. So right after this Psy Blast hits Ares, we're going to use the Mystic on Iron Patriot. And I find it odd that everyone targets Ares, it seems like. It's kind of weird for the AI to do that. But either way, we're going to use the Neurotrope. We're also going to use Quick Reflexes. And then, like I said, we're going to take a shot at War Machine with the Mystic. I'm really hoping he doesn't dodge that attack, because I would love to see it limit his abilities. Just to let you know, his Repulsor Beam, 21 Gun Salute, and Full Overcharge are all tech abilities. So that means he would have to use Plasma Blade, and nothing else. And we are able to hit him and put obsolete tech. So now it's going to be his turn coming up, and watch, he'll only be able to use Plasma Blade. That's going to be extra beneficial to us, because it's going to get protected from Hercules, and he will counterattack. I'd say that's much better than getting hit with 21 Gun Salute. Just as expected, the enemy Iron Patriot uses Plasma Blade. Now let's see what this pummel does. 38k, an overkill, and Iron Patriot's gone. Now on Ares' turn, we're going to use Personal War, and then we're going to put Despair on all the opponents. This will make sure that Death and Rebirth doesn't kick in on anyone. And we did get lucky that it didn't work on Iron Patriot. Actually, on second thought, we're going to use Crush Your Enemies. So let's try to stun the opponents instead. I think either option would have worked, but I do want to try to stun them. And we are able to stun Phoenix. So it works out pretty well. On their agent's turn, our Ares procs 10,000 yard stare. So that's going to intimidate him and put Broken Will on him. So he does very little damage with the Guardian. And he's going to get hit with a pretty big counterattack from Hercules. So let's see how much our pummel does this time. If we had Blessing of Olympus, that would have critted and definitely finished off the agent. But a non-crit for over 30,000 damage is pretty amazing. Now that it is Hercules' turn, he gains Blessing of Olympus. So he's going to do a guaranteed crit, and you can see that he's doing major damage. I'm actually going to try to do Rock of Ages on Phoenix. And it looks like that's going to do enough damage to finish her off. Unfortunately, she does dodge. That reality hacking looks like it saved the day. Our agent hits her with a Brawl, but it's not enough damage. Now on our turn, we're going to go ahead and use the Warbringer Axe on their agent. We have this battle pretty much won, but we just have to finish him off. And reality hacking really isn't cooperating. Even when Ares joins in with an Art of War, reality hacking procs once again. So sometimes that proc rate seems insane. And this is definitely one of those times. We hit with Personal War, but it does hardly any damage. And now we're hoping that Modern Warfare can finish the agent and put a decent hit on Phoenix. It looked like it worked out, but how do you like this? Their agent's still alive with 0 health. So he's going to use the Guardian of Adelan. I'm really hoping that this War Never Changes takes him down. Or the Combat Reflexes, anything at this point. I just really want to end this battle. Alright, so let's see. Now that the agent is finally gone, we're going to finish it off with a column down. And that's going to be the end of the video. I want to thank Goku for the team, and thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.